Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the September 16th SDAC meeting. I'm calling today's meeting in order at 10:05. Before the meeting begins, I will allow our interpreter to please introduce themselves and provide instructions for interpretation.
Good morning. Announcement from the interpreter. To use the interpretation feature, please scroll to the bottom of the Zoom screen where the meeting controls are. Click on interpretation icon row and select English as your language. If you are joining through the Zoom mobile app, cell phone, tablet, etc., please press ellipsis, then interpretation, and then choose your language. Finally, click on mute original audio to not hear the original Spanish flow in the background. Headsets are available for interpretation if you're in the meeting room. Please check out a headset from the receptionist in the lobby. Thank you. Buenos días. Aviso por parte del intérprete. Para hacer uso del servicio de interpretación, favor desplazarse a la parte inferior de la pantalla de Zoom, donde aparecen los controles. Haga clic en el icono de interpretación, globo terráqueo y seleccione Spanish. Si está utilizando la aplicación móvil de Zoom, celular, tableta, etc., presione los puntos suspensivos, luego interpretación y luego el idioma. Si no desea escuchar el audio original en inglés en el fondo, por favor seleccione Mute Original Audio, silenciar audio original. Contamos con auriculares disponibles para el servicio de interpretación. Si se encuentra en la sala de reunión, favor de pedir auriculares con la recepcionista en el vestíbulo. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Ted Kagan, Vice Chair. Our Chair, Christine Steinberg, will not be attending today. And can we have our clerk, Mr. Michael Garcia, to please confirm that we do have a quorum?
We do have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you. I will now ask our SANDAG staff, Tim Garrett, to please lead in the land acknowledgement.
Thank you. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we call home. The tribal nations of the San Diego region have historically faced injustices. We acknowledge the harmony that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respect to the unceded territory and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most in any county in the United States, from 4 cultural groups: the Kumeyaay Diegueño, the Luiseño, the Cupeño, and the Cahuilla. This land has nourished, healed, protected, and embraced them for many generations in a relationship of balance and harmony. As members of the SANDAG community, we acknowledge this legacy. We aspire to learn from Indigenous traditional knowledge and experiences in undoing the injustices of the past.
Thank you, Tim. Please stand with me and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we begin with our agenda items, let's review how to participate in today's meeting. Members of the SDAC may raise their hand, and I will call upon you hopefully by name. If not, I will point. And please forgive me because I do not see that well to see your names. So please forgive me on that. I will call you. In front of you are iPads where you will find today's agenda and supporting materials by clicking on the arrow at the top left. Please note that you can zoom in and out of our usage on the iPad just by touching the touch screen. And clerk, can you please provide a quick reminder on how the public comments will work?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. So as noted on the cover page of today's meeting agenda, in addition to email comments, the public may also provide live comments during today's meeting. So if you're a member of the public here in the room and would like to provide comments on an item, please submit a speaker slip to the clerk. If you're a member of the public joining us on Zoom, please raise your virtual hand during the item you'd like to comment on. The raise hand feature can be found on the Zoom toolbar for those who are joining via computer, or by entering *9 for those joining via telephone. And then the clerk will call on members of the public first, followed by virtual commenters. Commenters will be called by name or by the last 3 digits of the telephone number for those joining via telephone.
Thank you, thank you. Do any of the members of the working group have any questions on this meeting procedures before we begin, before we continue? Okay, seeing none. With that, let's start with item 2. Chair and vice chair selection, and Tim will discuss that process. Tim?
Thank you. Per the STAC charter, a chair and vice chair or co-chairs are nominated and elected annually by the STAC to serve 1-year terms. The chair shall conduct meetings and the vice chair shall conduct meetings in the absence of the chair. A primary or alternate voting member may be elected chair or vice chair, but would retain their status as a primary or alternate voting member during their tenure. Once appointed, the chair and vice chair will immediately be seated in their new roles. The chair or vice chair, if the chair is absent, will conduct meetings until a preceding chair is selected in September 2026. In a moment, Vice Chair Kagan will ask for nominations from the members. Once we receive all of the nominations for chair, members will be asked to vote for the first nominee. If a majority of primary members approve the nominee, the voting will end. Otherwise, we'll continue on subsequent nominees until someone receives majority approval. So next, after that, we will ask for nominations for vice chair. Members will be asked to vote on the first nominee for vice chair and continue voting on subsequent nominees until someone receives majority approval.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Now, do I hear any nominations?
Wait, I have a question.
Let's go to Charlotte.
Just as a clarification, I
Yes.
wanted to make sure if a person is as an alternate, they couldn't equally be chair or vice chair, doesn't matter.
Yes, they can be the chair or vice chair as an
Okay,
alternate.
thank you.
Well, any public comments on this item?
We have no public comment on this item, Chair.
Any?
No.
No, hearing none. Thank you. Then we will take nominations for chair first. Are there any nominations for chair? Yes, please.
Marcy Rocky for chair.
And what name, please?
Marcy Roque.
Okay. And I'm Ted Kagan. I'd like to throw my hat in as chair as well. Any other nominations on the floor? Okay, hearing none. Are there any other nominations for chair? And hearing none, we will then now vote on the nominees. There are 2 in the order of nominations. So the first one is,
Marcy Roque.
want to announce that, please?
Yeah, the first nominee is Marcy Roque. So we'll do voting on Marcy Roque. And can the clerk please take a vote on that?
Sure. We'll do voice vote this way. So we'll do in favor, opposed, and any abstentions. So for Marcy Roque for chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I think for this one though, we're gonna need to do roll call. So for Marcy Roque, just say A or nay or abstain. Ted Kagan.
And then it would be for Ted Kagan.
No.
No.
Oh, Sir?
So we're going to vote for, to take the vote for Marcy first. We're going to do a roll call vote. So each member of the STAC will say yes or no for Marcy first. So Ted, you're have the first vote.
I'll vote yes.
Clyde Kohler. Mark Fletcher.
Yes.
Sharon Beckus. Charlene O'Nellis.
Yes.
Marcy Roque.
Yes.
Morgan Furr.
Yes.
Maureen Glazer.
Yes.
Ali Porman.
Abstain.
Abstain. Arun Prem. Abstain. Deanna Hernandez. Who's the primary?
Yes.
Juan Garcia.
Yes.
Yes. Ione Chilvakova.
Abstain.
And I don't know who your NCT. And the other seat for NCTD paratransit?
Abstain.
Abstain.
And clerk, if I can interrupt for a moment, Alex Warner came in on the special interest seat B as the primary member. So if we could ask for a vote from Alex Warner instead of Clyde Kohler. Sorry, Clyde.
Apologies. Alex Warner instead of Clyde.
Yes.
Just a moment while I tally here.
And how many votes do we have? So we're now
Just a moment.
for the second.
One moment.
So that Marcy Roque for chair passes with 10 ayes, 4 abstentions, and 2 absences.
All right, so Marcy is confirmed as the chair. So next we'll move on to the vice chair. So I'll ask
What we're doing for the second nominee,
for
right?
the vice chair, yeah,
And then,
ask for nominations.
well, what about my nomination?
So since Marcy, we went in the order of the nominations. So since Marcy was the majority vote,
Okay.
then she's confirmed.
So we're now voting for the vice chair. And so one nomination of Ted Kagan. Is that
Okay.
correct? Okay.
Well, we'll take new nominations for vice chair. So we'll put Ted.
Okay. Any nominations for vice chair? Good.
And
Thank you,
just
Ted.
sorry, just to confirm, that was for Vassie to be the vice chair. Okay, thank you. She will be next term. Right now, she's the alternate. Any other nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate Bessie. So we have two nominees for vice chair, Ted Kagan and Sharon. Yes,
And Vassie for the second one. Vassie is the second nominee.
so
We'll vote on Ted first.
we're gonna vote for Ted Kagan for vice chair.
All right, so ask the clerk.
I will go ahead and call the roll. This is for Ted Kagan for vice chair. First, Ted Kagan,
Yes,
Alex Warner,
Abstain.
Mark Fletcher, Sharon Beckus, Charlene O'Nellis,
Abstain.
Marcy Roque,
Abstain.
Morgan Furr,
Yes.
Maureen Glazer,
No.
Ali Porman,
Abstain.
Aaron Prem,
No.
Diana Hernandez,
No.
Juan Garcia.
No.
I'm sorry, was that a no? One. One I didn't say. No. Ione
Abstain.
and the representative from NCD Paratransit.
Abstain.
Just a moment while I tally.
That's,
The clerk's-
So with 2 yeses, 9 abstentions, and 4 noes, that motion does not pass for Ted Kagan.
All right, so now we'll go on to the second nominee. So Vassie Hikes,
yes.
Vassie Heiss. Go ahead, clerk.
All right, so this is for Vice Chair for Vassie. Ted Kagan,
Yes.
Alex Warner,
Yes.
Mark Fletcher. Abstain. Sharon Beckus. Charlene Ornelas,
Yes,
that's yes.
yes,
Marcy Roque,
Yes.
Morgan Furr,
Abstain.
Maureen Glazer,
Abstain.
Ali Porman,
Yes.
Aaron Prim,
Yes.
Diana Hernandez,
Yes.
Juan Garcia,
Yes.
Ione,
Abstain.
and representative from NCTD Paratransit.
Abstain.
Just a moment while I tally the votes.
Okay, so nominations are the voting is over.
Yes. The clerk's about to let us know the results.
So this is done.
Yes, we just did that. So just,
So
That passes with 9 ayes, 5 abstentions, and no nays.
okay. Thank you. Congratulations to the new chair and the vice chair. Congratulations for the upcoming year, and you're invited to take your new seats. Not now, because I'm not ready to give it up yet. But after the next meeting.
I actually have it happening. I have the chair moving over now.
Okay, you move a chair now. Okay.
Brian, is that normal? No, or no, after? All right, well, we'll let Ted finish out this meeting then.
Thank you. Okay, let's move to the next item. And that's the non-agenda public comment or communications. Let me, I'm sorry. It's getting blurry here. Well, let's see. Non-agenda public comments, communications, member comments. Members of the public shall have opportunities to address the SDAC on any issue that is not on this agenda. Is there any comments from the members of the SDAC first?
Charlene.
Yeah, Sharon?
I think he said Charlene. But I'm still having troubles with the trolley in that they're not doing the announcements when they're going where there's more than one line. I'm getting a little tired of getting on the wrong line because I can't tell the signs in the front of the window always. And the other one is they're not making the announcements for the stops. And there's no excuse for either one. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Any other comments from the members? Yes, please.
I just want to share that the Department of Justice uses Uber for denying rides for passengers with service dogs and wheelchairs. So this is a really good development for improving Uber's services.
Sorry, Alex, could you expand on that? Sorry, if you had more.
Well, I can't, the only thing I know that the Justice Department, which does enforces the ADA, can sue can join lawsuits, and they join and sue the Uber for not providing services for people with service dogs and wheelchairs. And the premise is that it takes too long when someone in a wheelchair takes an Uber. Other things like, okay, service animals are kind of hard to keep or and they need, it's like, oh, they make a mess on the cars, things like that. So this is a lawsuit. We don't know. It just came about this month. So I will let you know how it progresses.
Thank you.
Would you like me to add a little bit to that? It's been an issue nationwide. There have been some individuals suing Uber and some settlements in favor of the person with a disability. The ones I know about are the ones with guide dogs. And what's happened a lot of times is they'll just come by and keep going. And unfortunately, if you're a blind person, you can't tell that that was your Uber. But if you're lucky enough to have a sighted person with you, you're finding out. And so it's starting to catch up with the drivers that they cannot just decide to refuse us. Our dogs are trained to ride on the floor. A true service dog does not ride on the seats of a car, does not run around in a car and all those things. It's trained what to do. And so it's hard, as a blind, especially as a blind person, to know that your driver's disqualified you or they will cancel and you don't know what's going on. But that's what it is. And it's finally gone to the Department of Justice.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Yes, please.
Just for some additional context here in San Diego, I just wanted to let everybody know and make it clear that we are represented on that list of Uber services that are supposedly being offered a wheelchair accessible vehicle in our city. However, here in the city, the practicality of actually using that option is non-existent. There are no taxi drivers here in San Diego that will willingly take an Uber request at the moment that it's placed for a wheelchair accessible van. So this is a major problem, and it's really great to hear that the Department of Justice is taking this up.
Thank you.
Read this section just so you know. We have more information. The lawsuit filed by the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California alleges Uber violated Title III of the American Disabilities Act, which prohibits discrimination based on disability by private transportation companies like Uber. The DA also requires Uber to allow services animals to accompany individuals with disability in vehicles and to provide rides to and assist riders with wheelchairs and mobility devices.
Thank you. Okay. We have any non-agenda items from the public?
First.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, Clyde, can you speak into your microphone, please? Clyde, can you speak into your microphone, please?
This one?
There you go. Thank you. Oh.
Sorry. For at least 10 years, I have been bringing up the question of audible announcements for stops on all vehicles, public vehicles. I ride buses, occasionally trolleys. I go on MTS, I go on NCTD, and I find that reliable stop announcements are still not happening. The last bus I was on today was an MTS bus, which did have announcements, but the announcements were very muffled, and that may have had to do with the fact that the interior of the bus is extremely noisy. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about rattles and bangs and roars. It's just really hard not to be able to count on knowing where I am, where I have to get off. So I'm bringing it up again. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
Sharon Beckus. I'd like to add to the fact that when I'm on the public transit, and if you were to ring the bell to get off at a stop, that cancels the next announcement for what the stop is. So I don't get to hear it. So if I'm drifting off or doing something, who knows, spaced out, I want to know what the next stop is. But when you ring that bell to get off, because you know where you're going, I don't get to hear what stop it is. So maybe the electronics can also be adjusted to somehow still say the announcement. Thanks.
Thank you, Sharon. Any other comments for members? Yes, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Tran. I am one of the new members at large. I'm from the city of Chula Vista. So just wanted to share some information for folks who do make it down to the South Bay. Last month, we recently expanded our shuttle services. It's called the Chula Vista Community Shuttle. Provides rides for seniors 55 plus for free on the northwest and southwest region of Chula Vista. And for folks under 55, it is a small fare of $2. And you can, we actually have a fleet of 7 vehicles, 5 sedans, 1 ADA van, 1 non-ADA. And you're able to download the application Ride Circuit, or for folks who don't want to use the application, you can actually call in directly to schedule any rides. So thank you.
What is that number to call in on?
If you have a pen and paper, I can give it to you. So the phone, okay, so the phone number is 619-650-6386. And then you'll put option 7. And the shuttle services are Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we're hopefully aiming to expand it more, but it is also based upon our funding as well.
And I'd like to commend you, and I've used it. I needed the number because yesterday I couldn't get my phone to pick it up and I couldn't use it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Use it today too. Thank you.
Any comments from the public?
We have no public comment, Chair.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, I do. I'm sorry. Just hand was raised. We have David Jackson. Oh, you're not on Zoom, so you're in person.
Hello. I want to know if that
It's 2 minutes. Is that what we're giving here?
Ride is that extended into Imperial Beach?
At this time, it is not. It's specifically for northwest and southwest of Chula Vista. So it's a very specific region around the I-5 corridor.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
We have no other public comment, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any updates from the SANDAG staff?
Yes, thank you. So the SANDAG's coordinated plan, which we've presented to you all a few times in the last year and a half, is almost ready to be posted as a draft for the public. So the draft plan is consistent with what we have presented to the STAC previously, so no surprises, but also reflective of some of the feedback that we heard from you all, as well as other working groups in our transportation committee. So that should be in the next week or so. We anticipate posting that online as a public draft, and I'll send out an email to the STAC when that is available for review. And the plan for that is it'll go to our transportation committee for approval in this fall. Other announcements, SANDAG and the Urban Collaborative Project, CDC, have partnered to launch Southeastern Connect, an on-demand microtransit service in Southeastern San Diego. The service provides residents and visitors with accessible, sustainable connections to key destinations in the Mount Hope, Choice View, and Emerald Hills neighborhoods. The service is operated by VIA and accommodates wheelchairs upon request. California Clean Air Day is Wednesday, October 1st. Pledge to replace one solo car trip with a sustainable option to reduce your emissions and promote healthy air quality. Residents of the San Diego region who take the pledge and check the box to receive communications from trusted partners will be entered for the chance to win a folding e-bike powered by Rad Power Bikes. And I believe there's also free transit offered by MTS and NCTD on that day, so take transit also. And the 2025 Regional Plan Draft Environmental Impact Report has been released for the public. It analyzes how proposed transportation improvements could impact the region's environmental resources and what can be done to reduce or avoid those impacts. The report is currently available for the public to view and provide feedback. Written comments are due by Monday, October 13th at 5 p.m. And I'll provide a follow-up email today with the links to this, to the report. And then one other announcement from me, STAC members are eligible to receive a Pronto card from SANDAG offering free transit during their STAC membership. I believe it's been some time since we asked for who wants to have one of these cards, who's interested in receiving one. So I'll ask now, and then we'll provide cards at our next meeting. So this is intended for people who aren't driving, if they, instead of parking validation or taking paratransit, things like that, we want to offer the rides. So I'll just ask if anybody, show of hands for people who would need Pronto cards. I see Mark, okay.
Or keep getting them,
I'm sorry?
or keep getting them.
Yes, if you already have one, we'll keep it active. But just wanted to know who needs a new card. We're just going through and kind of removing the access for the people who are not on the STAC anymore, but we want to offer the cards to the current members. So I see Mark Fletcher. I'm just going to take down names. Morgan.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is it either or if we accept the Pronto card, will we not be able to get parking validated on days that we do choose to drive?
It's a good question. I don't know that we have, I think it's intended to be either or, but we're probably not going to be checking to see, so. Yeah, Adriana, okay. Marcy, Emily, Alex.
Yes, any other questions to the staff?
Any other?
Yes, yes, Wayne.
And Maureen, okay. I think I got everybody. All right. And also just one other thing, welcome to the new members who I didn't introduce yet, but if you'd like to introduce yourselves as well, now's the time to do that before we move on to the next items.
I'm happy. Who's new?
Go ahead, Mark.
Is this working?
Yes.
Yeah, figured out. Hello, my name is Mark Fletcher. I'm a lifelong resident of San Diego County, and I have traversed this county on foot, on bicycle, on motorcycle, automobile, rail, fixed bus route, and paratransit. And I hope I'm a welcome addition to this commission, and I thank you for having me.
Great. My name is Kate Pecora. It's nice to be with you all today, and thank you for adding me to the group here. I came to San Diego back in January of 2022. Previously, I've lived in Boston, and I've traveled all over the country doing different types of healthcare advocacy and patient advocacy for individuals with rare diseases and disabilities. The reason that I really became involved in the transportation bit here in San Diego was because of a car accident that I actually had not too long after I moved out here. After that period, I realized that there were no alternative services available on demand at the time that I needed them for wheelchair accessible transportation, and have since made it my mission to ensure that nobody else has that experience while they're living here in this county. So it's fabulous to be here today, and I'm very excited to see all of the work that we're looking forward to the next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, follow-up comments?
I can introduce myself if that's okay. Nice to meet you guys. My name is Morgan. I'm representing the City of San Diego, more specifically Age Well Services. We curate recreation programs for persons 60 and older. I happen to work at Park de la Cruz in City Heights. which we're right off of University Avenue. So very lucky to have the I-15 Transit Plaza. So I very frequently interact with seniors that rely on public transit to come to our center to participate rather in our programs. And I personally, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, where we have very limited public transit. So moving here 5 years ago to go to grad school, I was thrilled to find out that you had buses and trolleys and shorter circuits that are able to help people get around. And that's how I got around for 4 years before I got a car. So I very much am personally attached to this, and I'm hoping to get more resources to share with my seniors at Park de la Cruz. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Morgan. Welcome.
Can I introduce myself?
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Vassie Heights. I am the new manager of paratransit and minibus at MTS. I'm not new to MTS. I worked here for about 9 years and left to go stay home with my kids for a couple of years. So just wanted to introduce myself, and I see a lot of familiar faces and I'm excited to be back.
Hi, everyone. As mentioned before, my name is Emily Tran. I'm with the City of Chula Vista. I'm actually here both professionally and personally in regards to advocating for seniors, older adults, and folks with disabilities. What got me into transportation is the intersection of the community shuttle, specifically in City of Chula Vista, because we are a livable community and we have age-friendly and healthy initiatives. I came in specifically under that role. So technically, I'm a management analyst for all things healthy and age-friendly for the city.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no further comments, and we will continue to the consent agenda. This includes items 4.1, the minutes from our July 15th meeting. And note that being absent does not prevent members from making corrections or voting on the minutes. Are there any public comments on this consent agenda?
We have no public comment on this item,
Thank
Vice
you.
Chair.
Are there any comments to questions from members?
Do we need a motion to approve, to accept the,
Yes, please.
so I'll make that motion to,
We have a second, please.
But-
We have a
I'll
second. Okay. Yes,
I'll second.
we have a second. So all in favor? Is
Oh,
we need an individual vote or?
no.
No, just all in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? And that is an abstention from Sharon and just one? Oh, and Mark.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that motion passes with 2 abstentions.
Thank you. We will now move to the next item. Item 5, the SDAC membership updates and solicitation of volunteers. Tim will provide that update. Tim?
Thank you. At our previous meeting, I announced that we have a vacancy in one of the STAC seats despite having an election. So another vacancy, another election. We're looking for applications for an agency that is a social service provider for people with disabilities. The agency selected for this position shall serve for 2 years, expiring in July 2027. Upon expiration, the agency may apply for renewal for additional 3-year terms as normal. Applicants should identify a primary voting member to represent their agency, as well as an alternate to fill that role when the primary voting member is unable to attend the meeting. The application is available online and attached to today's agenda. It'll be posted on the STAC webpage later today. And I'll send out the email also with links to the application. The application period will be from September 16th today through October 17th, and a selection committee will meet in the second half of October to evaluate and select the successful applicant. The successful applicant will then be seated at our next meeting in November. We're requesting up to 3 current STAC members to volunteer to evaluate the applicants over an online meeting. And I already have Wayne Landon. He already let me know that he couldn't be here today, but he's going to volunteer to be on the panel. So I'll turn it back to the chair to solicit volunteers. We're looking for 2 more volunteers from the STAC.
I'll volunteer the Charlene.
Okay,
I'll volunteer too.
Alex and Adriana.
Yes, so
Okay.
someone else can, I volunteer.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Kagan as well.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for volunteering.
Have a question?
Are there any public comments
good.
on this item to Tim?
We have no public comment, Chair.
Okay, hearing none. As Tim mentioned, we need these.
We're good.
Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, that's for member comments.
We do have volunteers now.
Yep.
And are there any comments or questions from members to Tim? Yes, please.
Yes, Sharon Beckus, how are you advertising for that position opening? I was thinking of also UCSD, who has a large population as well of I don't know what the politically correct word is, disabled students. So I'd like to see if they can be solicited in some way. They're a big supporter of MTS.
Sure. Do you have a contact at UCSD who'd be good? or-
No, but I will look, Tim,
Okay.
and see what I can find out.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. I'll follow up.
Because how
with
do you solicit them?
Yeah, so we post it online and we do the email blast. I have a larger list of contacts beyond just the current STEC members, other folks who have indicated interest in the STEC. And we got a couple of suggestions at the last meeting. I think Adriana provided some suggestions for other groups there's a county group and there's another like AARP and things like that. So I'll contact a few different groups to broadcast that it's available over the next few weeks,
Do
but
they have to be a 501(c)(3)?
No.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Other universities would be good too. UCSD, state.
Any further comments or questions to Tim? Hey, seeing none or hearing none further comments, let's move on then to the next item. Item number 6 is an informational item, a specialized transportation, the grant program annual update. And staff will introduce the specialized transportation grant program and provide an overview of the progress made by grantees and the grants division in calendar year 2024. Amy Vasquez will provide that update. Amy?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ali Vasquez. I'm the program manager for the Specialized Transportation Grant Program here at SANDAG. And I'm happy to join you all today to really take stock of the year 2024 and what happened within the program. So I'll go ahead and get started here. So first, I want to let you know all what I've been talking about. Thank you, Tim. And I want to talk about, so first I'll talk about what the program is. Next, I'll talk about how we monitor the grantees and distribute the funding, and then review how the grantees performed over the year 2024. And then we'll do that taking stock, like I just talked about, and look at our lessons learned from the year 2024. And next, I want to, provide opportunity for any of you to have questions or comments. Feedback is always welcome. So first, the program overview. So the Specialized Transportation Grant Program has a goal to improve mobility for older adults and individuals with disabilities by delivering effective, equitable, environmentally responsible, and coordinated specialized transportation solutions in our region. And we do that by distributing funding to nonprofit organizations, local governmental agencies, transit operators, or tribal governments through 2 funding sources. We have funding through the FTA Section 5310 program, and then we also have funding through the Transnet half-cent sales tax that we receive at SANDAG. Though the funding sources are similar, there's some differences as well. So for the FTA Section 5310 program, the target population that receives the benefits from the funding should be older adults and individuals with disabilities. And older adults is defined as 65 and older. And the actual services must be in the large urbanized areas of San Diego County. And this funding comes from federal formula funds. So it's something that we receive every few years based off of our census population size. Whereas the senior mini grant funding source, the target population for that are only older adults, and that is defined as 60 and older. And the services could be county-wide, and that money comes from the local sales tax revenue, as I mentioned. So there are 3 grant types that can be supported through these funding sources. One is mobility management grants. So those are grants for things like travel trainings, brokerage transportation, or referrals, meaning somebody can call a call center or look on a website to find transportation and they can be referred to find a ride. And then there's operating grants, and that's actual funding to fund the operations of the transportation services. And then lastly, there are capital projects that we can fund, and those could be capital projects to purchase accessible vehicles, so minivans with a ramp or shuttle buses with an actual wheelchair lift, or capital could also be contracted transportation. So if a grantee works with a contractor to provide that transportation service. An example of that would be ARC of San Diego is one of our grantees right now, and they actually work with, they have in the past worked with Talia Limousine to provide contracted transportation for people with disabilities to get to employment offices. So next I'll talk about some of the grant monitoring and distribution that we did over the year. So these were what our grantees looked like for 2024. As you can see, we have a lot of grantees, many of which are actually in this room today. And we often get the same repeat grantees in this program, but in 2024, we did have some newer grantees, and that included Mountain Shadows Support Group and Total Deliverance Worship Center, as well as St. Paul's Senior Services. And here's a look at our grants by funding sources. As you can see, just based off of the fact that FTA Section 5310 are formula funds, you can see that's our largest funding source here. So most of our grants that we're monitoring over the years tend to be federal and require more oversight since it's federal funding. Then we also have the senior mini grant program, which was about $4 million. And then we had just a tiny bit from our old program called JARC, Job Access Revenue Commuter Program. And those were old FTA dollars. And I'm happy to say we're finally over that JARC. We just ended that grant recently, so we won't be seeing that in the next coming years, but those, that's why it looks so small here. So what kind of, what was the grant makeup for the year 2024? So we had mostly capital projects, and this is likely because our capital grants tend to be longer because those are based off of the vehicle useful life, which could be 5 years for the shuttle buses and 4 years for the minivan. So that's why we have so many capital vehicle grants. Next, our largest grant type was operating grants, and that's just because the cost of operations tends to be expensive, so they need a lot of money for that. That is followed by mobility management, and then the contracted transportation service that I mentioned. We had, for the capital side of things, that means that we had around 140 accessible vehicles out there on the road for us to monitor, and also folks that were getting essential rides. And so you might have seen them out there on the road when you were driving. So in addition to monitoring grants, we also administered the competitive or funding allocation process to give out the funds. And during the year 2024, we were administering the cycle 13 call for projects. And as a result of the call, we were able to collectively recommend approximately 9.5 million in SCGP funding be allocated to support specialized transportation services across the region. So we were able to fund around 76% of the total funding requests that we received. As you can see, we were still oversubscribed, but we were able to fund a majority of them requests. And next, I'll talk about some of the performance for the year 2024. So some key performance figures. We were able to provide over 500K in one-way passenger trips, and those were trips from our capital projects and our operating projects. And for mobility management grants, we were able to provide over 400,000 referrals or brokerage transportation trips. And then lastly, our operating mobility management and contracted service grants were able to serve over 9,800 passengers. And I'd like to say that that's an underestimation because we are not currently getting demographic information for our vehicle grants, but it is something that we are seeking to improve so that vehicle grantees could record that information for us and we can get that information to all of you as well. And this is an outlook of the completed grants performance. So that means that of the grants that finished and they all got paid out or their vehicles ended their useful life and they were able to close out. We had about 10 grants that had actual performance targets. And of those 10 grants, half of them were able to achieve those performance targets and half of them were not. And we're still aging out the many grants that didn't have performance targets to adhere to. And the reasons why why our grantees were not able to meet their performance targets really vary. Much of it was due to COVID-19 and driver shortages, especially for the operating and for the capital projects. So travel patterns really changed that we could not foresee, that many of the grantees could not foresee, and there was reduced demands for actual trips. And that's why many of them were not able to meet their targets. And then there was the driver shortages as well. So they had trouble even recruiting drivers to provide the trips for passengers. And that's why they weren't able to meet their targets. And then we did have one grantee that didn't complete their deliverables because their agency dissolved and they actually had to return their vehicles to SANDAG, and SANDAG had to recompete those vehicles to give to another agency that could provide services. And then something else I would like to note regarding this slide is that when we took stock of how many grantees were not completing their deliverables, the majority of the grantees that didn't complete their deliverables were really the capital vehicle projects. And so this might indicate that the vehicle grantees that we have with the SCGP really need more support. That might be something we can provide through technical assistance or more webinars and stuff like that to help them achieve their targets that they set out in their scopes. So here's some lessons learned. And I think that you probably are able to pick up on a lot of these lessons learned throughout my conversation today. So we've had some challenges. One of the challenges that we've had is funding. The need for funding is high, and we don't have enough. We were only able to meet about 76% of the actual demand we received through the funding allocation process. And so at SANDAG, what we did is we did add specialized transportation to the board's legislative agenda so that we can increase our advocacy to advocate for more funding overall for the region for this essential transportation services. And another thing that we've been doing at on the program level is really just trying to maximize the funding that we do have. So for example, not just the funding, but also the assets. For example, with the vehicles that returned to us, we recompeted them. We're not letting them just sit parked. We want them to provide those services. We also have funding that we get sometimes if a vehicle is in an accident and it's a total loss, we repurpose those funds and we give it to another agency through the competitive funding allocation process. So that's another way we continue to maximize our funds. And then, like I mentioned before, it seems like a lot of our vehicle grantees are struggling to meet their performance targets. And so something that I would like to do this year and going forward and into 2026 is really taking a comprehensive look at the vehicle grant requirements just to make sure that those grant requirements are not too high for people that are applying for vehicle grants, and then also providing more technical assistance. So we have been meeting with vehicle grantees more one-on-one to talk about their deliverables and make sure that they are meeting those targets. And then we also are providing more webinars just for vehicle grants because the vehicle grants, because they're capital assets, the requirements are so different from the reimbursement-based grants that are operating, mobility management, contracted transportation. There's just an asset to take care of. You have to park them, you have to take care of them. There's maintenance, stuff like that, annual, biannual inspections that we need to be doing. So those are very different from our reimbursement grants. And so what we want to do is have more webinars to really talk about those specifically so that grantees are more aware and we can ensure that they're taking care of the vehicles and tracking their targets more efficiently. So we're already going to have a webinar on just on vehicle disposition in October of this year, just to provide more support for those vehicle grantees. And then another thing that we noticed in 2024 is the STGP has something that has been going on for a number of years, but it hasn't really been evaluated in a number of years. So for example, we have something called the past performance adjustment. So when an applicant reapplies to get specialized transportation funding, if they did not perform well on a previous grant, that can be factored into the competitive process. So the reason why this was created, it was actually created several years ago with input from STAC and others, is so that we can disincentivize poor performance, right? So we're not funding the same agencies that cause problems in the past, but it hasn't been something we've looked at again to make sure that it is a fair process. So that's something that I would like to come back to STAC about. And I also would like to work with the SANDAG data science team to really look at how equitable the past performance adjustment criteria for the SDGP funding allocation process is. So that's the end of my presentation. I want to thank you all for listening to me. It's been so great to take stock and welcome any questions at this time. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Clyde Kohler. I appreciate your presentation very much. You're very knowledgeable. I do hope you'll come back, and I do hope that in future you will state what's on the screen.
I
You
see.
cannot assume that we can see it.
I see. Okay. Thank
That
you.
was really noticeable when you did the slide showing all the grantees.
Mhm.
I could tell there were a bunch of different blobs on there, and that's all I know. And
Okay.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who didn't get the information. So that would be real helpful. And thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Any other comments to Ally? Yes, please.
Sharon Beckus, thank you for the presentation. I have a question. You mentioned you got X amount of percentage of funding. You didn't break it down between 5310 and senior mini grant. Was one better funded than the other? And 2026 is going to be a challenge. It's always a challenge, but more so because it's federally funded for the 5310 and we don't know what the federal government's going to be doing. And then the local sales tax with San Diego is another issue of us being in a deficit, so to speak. So I'd like to address those issues.
Yes, so the FTA Section 5310 program continues to be our larger funding source in comparison to the Transnet Senior Mini Grant revenue. We usually get about 6.6 million per a competitive process, which our competitive process happens about every 2 years right now. So we get about 6.6 million, and we have been continuing to monitor the situation, the situation with our funding with FTA Section 5310, and we haven't heard anything about, the federal government taking this money away or anything like that. That said, you never know, and we'll just keep watching out for that. But I haven't received any news of that. And then for senior mini grant Transnet funding, that's about that tends to be about 2.8 million per competitive cycle. So it's a very small, and that makes it even more competitive than the federal dollars. And that and the demand for that is really high because the $5310 are for large urbanized areas, whereas senior mini is countywide. So the bounds are different. Large urbanized areas is different than the countywide, right? So it continues to be really, really competitive. Like I can just say that, but I haven't heard any news that our funding is going to decrease or anything like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Ally. Is there any further comments? Yes, please.
Hi there, Kate Pecora. I had a question for you. One of the things that you'd mentioned was that there was a lack of willing and able drivers to be able to perform these services. I would believe that the solution to that would be to retain and train more drivers. Is there any assessment going on through the grant funding program that looks at the training programs, the individuals that are coming on board to provide these services, and making sure that we're providing or that the grants are providing an opportunity for them to not only have a job, but to have a career, recognizing that specialized transportation is much different than being a regular taxi driver or somebody who picks up Uber on the side. I'm curious to know if there's anybody that's been doing efforts in that, and anything you have to say there.
In regards to drivers, the way that we monitor drivers is we make the grantees do a maintenance plan, and that includes how you train the drivers and test the drivers, making sure that they have the valid license to drive that vehicle. So that's one way that we monitor their actual driver trainings. And but recruitment themselves is really on the grantees. And the problem that we were seeing in 2024 was they would put out the recruitments, but they wouldn't get any response from it. So that was really the problem there. So the problem wasn't really on the monitoring of the drivers. It was just the recruitment. Something that I had heard from many of the grantees especially the ones with the vehicle grants, was that they were having trouble getting drivers because many of those drivers were actually taking private jobs as opposed to public jobs, like driving an Amazon vehicle or a delivery vehicle. And another thing that we noticed with this driver shortage is it made the minivans really high in demand in comparison to the shuttle buses, because for shuttle buses, you need a special license. Whereas with the minivans, you don't. And so that was another thing too. So we could talk to the grantees about their options there, about perhaps you should try and get a minivans there so you don't get more minivans as opposed to, but it's really about their needs. If they need a larger bus, yeah.
But to that point,
Yeah.
it is about their needs, but if there's no driver to drive them, then this is all for nothing. So I would really encourage you to look and include that as part of the assessment for this upcoming round, to make sure that there is a sustainable model where individuals who become cab drivers, who learn how to operate these wheelchair accessible vehicles, learn how to engage with folks with disabilities and take them where they need to be. That again, is not something that can be taught in a 40-hour work week. That is something that is a career stepping stone. And it's also not a minimum wage job. And I think we need to understand and represent that for the folks that are applying for these grants, that they should not be looking to contract out with Uber providers necessarily.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Any further comments? Yes, please, Morgan.
Hi, Morgan Fur. Thank you, Ali. Great presentation. Just wanted to get clarity as to when the timeline for the applications, just because I don't think I saw the city of San Diego on there, so that'll give us something to shoot for. So just wanted to ask you to speak on that, please.
Yes, thank you. Great question. So I made sure to add it on the item 6 cover sheet. So we anticipate that the next release, that is our cycle 14 call for projects, will be released in July 2026. And we welcome any stakeholder input during our development of the call for projects. It's my next task. I actually was kind of waiting for coordinated plan to be done because I would really like the coordinated plan to inform our call for projects as well. So look forward to seeing a City of San Diego application in July 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Yes, please. Wayne?
Thank you, Ted. Thanks, Ali. Thanks for providing that great overview. And the issue with the oversubscription of the grants, as you know well, is not a new one. It's been going on for years, as long as I've been involved in this process. And my recommendation pertains to that, as well as to the coordinated plan, which is, I think I've already made that point here several times, but I just wanted to address this to you again, that given that the demand is way more than the funding that's available, SANDAG could, I think, play a constructive role in engaging with those entities that didn't get funded, or all of them for that matter, even the ones who did get funded, to encourage them to consolidate their programs and requests as much as possible. Because I think it goes without saying that there is efficiencies in doing things together where larger volumes and larger procurements, things like that are concerned. So there may be an opportunity to do more with the funding that you have and address some of the unmet need that way.
Thank you. I'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the public?
We have no public comment on this item, Chair.
Thank you. Let's move on then to item number 7, which is a discussion on unmet needs. STEC members and the public do have the opportunity to discuss new and continuing comments regarding tenant needs in the San Diego region. Are there any public comments at this time regarding unmet needs?
We have no public comment on this item, Chair.
Okay. From the members, any, yes, please, Sharon.
Yep. It's one I've mentioned before. And that is there's an area that of great interest for people, which is the Wild Animal Park in North County. It's a flex bus that does service it if I'm using, I can transfer at the Escondido Transit Center, get on a flex bus and then walk from the curb to the gate of the Wild Animal Park. That bus is you call and tell them I'd like the bus and somehow and it comes. But if I'm using paratransit to get around, I can't do that. They say they can't service it. And my concern is that you're giving service to people without a disability that you're not giving to people with a disability just because there's a technicality and it's a flex bus and not a fixed route bus. So if a person of the general public can use transit to get somewhere, people with a disability need to have that same opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments on unmet needs?
We have no public comment on this item, Chair.
I should make a comment to MTS though. I was twice this past week. The buses broke down while I was on the bus. And I understand driving for many, many years that mechanical problems do exist. But somehow on a bus line, we don't expect that. So maybe we need to do something better mechanically. I don't know how we can explain that, but 2 different days, buses were delayed through my days off completely. So we need to maybe make note of that if MTS and see what we can do with that. Any other comments?
Question for Tim.
Let's then move on. Yes, we have, yes.
Thank you. Regarding the unmet needs, Tim, I think I recall from the coordinated plan that there was a recommendation in future in the next iteration of the plan to address this scenario by doing some sort of study of unmet need for specialized transportation. Is that still the case or something that's likely to happen under the coordinated plan?
Are you thinking in terms of dollars, like the quantifying the unmet need, or was there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there is a section in the coordinated plan that does attempt to list a number for what the unmet need is, taking into consideration things like the Specialized Transportation Grant Program, and then looking at a couple of surveys that we've done, including one we did for the coordinated plan specifically, and then also the household travel survey, looking at when people would have wanted to make trips, but they weren't able to because they didn't have transportation available. The options didn't exist. So quantifying the number of trips that people would have liked to make, and then estimating the cost to provide those based on how trips are provided via fixed route transit, paratransit, specialized transportation grantees through the program. So there are some estimates of the dollar amount needed to meet the unmet need in the draft coordinated plan. So that'll be, unless it gets taken out before the draft is published, that is in there at the moment.
Any further comments on unmet needs? Okay. Let's then move on to item 8 and with updates from MTS, NCTD, and FACT. MTS, you want to start on that?
And Juan Garcia from our routes. Just basically October 1st, just so everybody knows that it's free ride day, October 1st, along with North County Transit. This will be for the 6th year straight that we've done this for the free ride day. We also just got 13 new 40-foot buses, electric buses for the South Bay region, which is probably improve. It will probably improve the breakdowns. And then we've also received about 38 300 series buses now, going into regular service. And we are getting rid of the older buses, 600 series, which they're about 12 years old. So that will probably solve a lot of the breakdown issues. Those 600s will be donated to LA Metro for the Olympics. That's about it.
So for paratransit, just a reminder that the do not leave alone practice is going to be discontinued at the beginning of the new year, so January 1st, 2026. So for anyone that had access eligibility prior to January 1st, 2025, they can still have that, but beginning of the year, that is no longer going to be available. Another reminder, Access does now offer same-day rides for passengers. So you can call in same day between 8 and 4 p.m. pending availability, and the cost for that is $10 per one-way trip. So far, this has been a successful program. Since we launched July 1st of 2025, we have completed 2,100 trips, same-day trips so far. Diana Hernandez, who's sitting behind me, she is the supervisor of paratransit and minibus, and she is currently going to be conducting a study regarding the Braille signs that you can see at certain bus stops or transit stations. Over the last couple of years, we have seen an increase in the sign theft, and so we wanted to look to the to this committee or ASAC or anyone to give her any kind of information on what might be useful, where should we play these, because they are pretty costly to make. So if anyone has anything that they would like to provide, please reach out to Diana. We can provide her information as well. In addition, we're also gathering information about a new app-based technology for assisting the sight impaired at transit centers. So if anyone would like to provide any their experience or thoughts, again, reach out to Diana. And finally, the Accessible Services Advisory Committee at MTS is this Thursday at 1 p.m.
Thank you. Okay.
Just a comment regarding signage.
Yes, any comments?
Yeah, just a comment regarding the signage. The Department of Transportation adopted all the requirements, accessibility requirements for bus stops back in January, and they are now enforceable. And they do have all the requirements for signage, and if there is very minimal requirements for Braille, so you want to look at those to do the minimum accessibility requirements for those signage. I can send you the link if you just send me an email.
Yes, please.
Okay. Directing it to North County well, to actually kind of both. MTS, we're talking about dropping the do not leave alone. And what I'm wondering is when people are making a transfer from access to Lyft or from Lyft to access, unfortunately, some of those places are not protected from elements, so that if it's happens to be a rainy day and I'm, say, transferring at 0.8, which is up by San Diego or University of San Diego, I have nowhere to go to be out of the rain. Be sitting on a bench, sitting there getting soaked. There are not restrooms close by if I needed to get to a restroom. Some of them up in North County, Point 10, Escondido. I still say that is a very unsafe place to be. I think Del Largo would be much safer. It's more lit. That's right off of the 10 is Point 10 is just right by Kit Carson Park, which is not the most desirable place to be at night. And there is more places to maybe get some security at Del Largo, like a person could go to the McDonald's. So I'm wondering, when the do not leave alone is dropped completely, is that going to include transfers?
We'll take a look at that, and then we can get back to you.
Yes, anyone else? Yes, please.
We do have reading public comment or member comment, Chair, just.
Yes. Please, yes.
Okay. My name is Mark Fletcher, and I'd just like to chime in on the decision that MTS has made on leaving the transfer riders behind. We'd just like to comment that the disabled and the elderly that utilize that service are a much more vulnerable population in the society. And I listened to the meeting you had 2 months ago, and there was public comment from somebody, and that was their specific mention, how long these wait times are becoming. And not only do you have the elements from the sun and the rain and having and not having restroom access, but you're also vulnerable for the criminal element. You're an easy touch, you're a soft target. And I'm just wondering if the cost savings that you may incur from this decision, the first person that has an untoward experience due to this new decision, would that perhaps outweigh the cost savings that you had with litigation and the black eye it would receive from the press and the public scrutiny? I would hope that you guys would rethink that decision, and it's going to leave a lot of vulnerable people vulnerable out there in society. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else make comment for MTS?
We do have public.
And turn over to North County.
Yeah, let's do NCTD and fact updates, and then we'll do public comment on the rest of things. Sorry for doing things out of order. Sorry, Ethel. All right, so NCTD.
Awesome, thank you. So this Thursday, September 18th at 2 p.m. At the Board of Directors meeting, NCTD will be conducting the public hearing for the proposed elimination of Breeze 323. This proposed elimination is due to the route not meeting the performance standards set in the service design guidelines. But alongside this proposed elimination, we're also proposing to reroute Breeze routes 311, 313, and 325. With this reroutes, some of the key destinations in this area will be a little bit better served. So access to the Walmart will be retained, which was previously only served by the 323. And we'll be adding access to the DMV, which will be the first time that we've done that. And we've received a lot of feedback regarding DMV access. And we'll also be adding, with those reroutes, a new north-south connection to Miracosta College. And so that will be voted on by the Board of Directors this Thursday. Also this Thursday, the board will be deciding whether or not to set a public hearing for the proposed Breeze weekend standardization and changes to the Sorrento Valley Coaster Connection service. What this means in this proposal is that Sunday service would be added to Breeze routes 304 and 318, and Saturday service would be removed from Breeze routes 325 and 347. This would be, again, subject to the board's discussion, but I did want to give this group a heads up because the public hearing, if approved to be set, would be on November 20th, which I know is 2 days after this meeting, our next meeting. So I just wanted to give that heads up. In terms of Sorrento Valley, within this proposal would be to eliminate the 471, 472, and 478. The 479 and 473 is not included in this. And the reason for that is just due to low performance of those 3 routes.
Thank you. Any comments from North County to the North County? Yes, please.
I'll go to fact for any updates.
Yes, thank you. Do you mind if I ask a quick MTS question before I go ahead? So for the MTS team, I just wanted to clarify, Bessie or Juan, your same-day paratransit service, is that intended to be on demand or just for the day of the request? And if the answer is yes to on demand, then what's the response? And, how many of these requests are you seeing for right now or immediate service? And sorry, if you don't have the information, I know you just came back to MTS.
Yeah.
We can address this at the next meeting.
Yeah, so you can call between 8 and 4 and pending that there is availability, and then, we can provide the trip. And so far, since the beginning of July, we've performed almost 2,100 trips, same day trips.
And so if I wanted to travel within the hour, I could still make that request and.
You could make the request. Again, it's pending availability. So if we can't place that trip somewhere where it makes sense, then we will not be able to provide it. But so far, we've seen quite a bit of success with this program, and it's only in its second and a half month, third month.
I appreciate it. I was just trying to clarify if you're guaranteeing immediate response, but apparently not.
Yeah, it just depends on availability.
Thank you. Facts, planning to introduce access for all Right Fact Now service for the second iteration under the Cycle 2 grant from AFA. And so that does provide on-demand service, as you know. And the expected rollout date is still late September or early October because the grant agreement is not yet ready, and we have not received it from SANDAG, but we're optimistic that we are getting it in the month of September. So in anticipation of that, and the service start in October, we've announced a media event at the San Diego Civic Center Plaza, and the time is 9 o'clock in the morning, and the date is October 30th. So all of you are on our mailing list and will be receiving a notification regarding that event, and welcome all of you to join us on October 30th to kick off, inaugurate AFA Part 2 Right Fact Now service. This service is same on demand and can be accessed by calling or through the app, and in most cases, over 90% of the cases, we provide the ride within 60 minutes of the request. And the service area is the entire county. There's also another media event planned for November 20th. That's a Thursday also, like October 30th. And during this one, November 20th at Caltrans District 11 headquarters, we will be showcasing vehicles that FACT purchased with Section 5339, which is FTA funding, and again, have an opportunity to showcase those vehicles and invite partners, media, and public to talk about the services that we're providing with those vehicles and how we're adding those accessible vehicles to the capacity in San Diego for providing accessible rides. Kate mentioned her personal experience of just how dire the situation is in the public transportation taxi realm. Just the service is limited to the extent of being non-existent. So we're trying to do our part in making a dent in that scenario. And again, welcome all of you to join us. On December 3rd, I'm very pleased to announce that we will be celebrating FACT's 20th anniversary. And that will happen at the Mingay Museum. It's a Wednesday, December 30th. And you should have received that save the date notification yesterday in your emails. But if you didn't, please contact me or Ali, and we'll be happy to get you caught up. It's hard to believe FACT is 20 years old. And I've been there for the 15 of the 20 years, but it really, as you all know, time really flies when you're having so much fun as we are here. And to commemorate that, we invite all of you to join us on December 3. I think I covered all of my updates with that, so thank you.
Thank you. Any public comments for back to North County or?
We do have
MTS?
public comment on this item, Chair. It's Ethel Miranda.
Okay.
Good, sounds like right there. Okay. Good morning, members of the committee. All right, I would like to address the pending DNLA, just the stop. I'd like you to reconsider along with NCTD before you do so, to please do some things before you just completely drop the ball. The passengers, of which I am one of them. So yes, there are standard. It's a standard now that there will be wait times in between transfers. And as you've heard from other members right now, that yes, those are very, very long waits. Hour and 40 minutes. It's not uncommon to keep getting updates. There will be another 40 minutes added to that. Those are the thought of being stuck out there. Sometimes, to get to San Diego, to get to this meeting, to get to the Blind Community Center, the beginnings of those classes, Braille Institute. My pickup is at 6 a.m. And if it's raining and dark out there and another hour out there, hour and a half waiting for in those unsafe areas, I beg you to reconsider. If you're gonna do it, then start working now on collaborating with each other, NCTD and MTS, talking about your scheduling, fixing it, changing the transfer centers. I think Escondido Transfer Center has the infrastructure it already has bathrooms. It already has cameras and patrols. So yeah,
Ms. Miranda,
please
your
consider.
time has expired. Maybe about 10 more seconds.
Okay, so appreciate your time. Please consider the people who can't be here and speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, please.
I think you're talking to me. I'm with back asking, is the 1036 and the 5310 and the 5336 the same grants, or are they different?
Charlene, they're different. And 5339 is a grant called Section 5339 is a grant for bus and bus facilities. That's what they call it. And it's specific to capital. And we applied, we're not directly allowed to apply for it. We applied through Caltrans, and fortunately, we're successful in one cycle. So that's why we're holding this event at the Caltrans District 11 headquarters. Welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments? Sure. Yes, please.
Yeah, this is Sharon Beckus. I sent an email to Tim about, I've been noticing I've been getting emails from other cities about their public transit buses using cameras on the front. And using cameras on the front for vehicles that are parked in the bus spaces. They can't deboard, their on-time performance is off because there's vehicles parking there. So they are using cameras to take photos of the vehicle with the license plate, sending it to the police department. Then the police department follows up, and there's a revenue that also would come back to the bus transit. Tim said he was going to look into that for me, something about maybe we may not be able to do it here in San Diego, but I'd like to see of what's the status on that. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. I'll follow up on that. Like I told you, I think we don't have the legislation to do that at the moment in San Diego County. I think it's been approved in a couple of different cities, but we'll take a look at that. Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions? Hearing none. Thank you. We'll conclude this meeting. Our next meeting is November 18th. Usually 18th. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting and have a safe trip home. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you.